Geobyte.
Hello friends, welcome to the Geobyte. Dear friends, in the last video I have discussed some problems in design of machine elements. In this video also I will discuss some more problems for the same subject. Dear friends, believe me, all these problems I collected from previous ESET examination papers. Since each and every problem is equally important, my request is you please watch till the last problem. After listening all these problems, you practice with pen and paper. While you are practicing with pen and paper, if you find any doubt, please don't forget to send your doubt to the GeoByte. Definitely, the GeoByte team will answer all your questions. You can send your doubts not only for design of machine elements but also for strength of material, thermodynamics, IC engines, refrigeration and air conditioning, fluid mechanics, etc. Look at the very first problem. The first problem is to avoid the slipping of the belt. You know, the belt drive is entertaining some slip, whereas gear drives do not maintain any slip. To avoid the slip in the belt drive, the belt must be tight. That is the one option. The other option is by providing slightly convex shape on the rims of the pulley. When you provide the rims of the pulleys are slightly convex, definitely you can minimize the or you can avoid the slipping. Look at the options. The pulleys are provided. The pulleys are provided with flanges. No. Look at the option B. The rims of the pulleys are made slightly convex. Yes. So with this arrangement, with the convex arrangement of the rims of the pulley, you can avoid the slip or you can minimize the slip. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the second problem. Dear friends, this problem is very important. A pulley of diameter 30 centimeters transmits 2.5 kilowatts power at 200 rpm. It is given like this. Diameter of the pulley given 30 centimeters. Make it in meters, 0.3 meters. Power transmission P equal to 2.5 kilowatts. It is equal to 2500 watts at a speed of n equal to 200 revolutions per minute. Next, the angle of lap of the belt over the pulley. Angle of lap means angle of contact equal to 160 degrees. You convert it to radians. 160 multiplied by pi by 180. Pi by 180. That is the theta value, angle of contact theta. Now it is given that the coefficient of friction between the pulley and the belt, coefficient of friction denoted by mu, is given as 0.25. The tension on the tight side and tension on slack side of the belt, dash and dash respectively in newtons. You are asked to find the tension on the tight side is T1, tension on the tight side is T1 and slack side is T2. T1 and T2 are how much? That is the problem. Let us try it. As you know, power P equal to T1 minus T2 into belt speed V. But belt speed V equal to pi dN by 60. V equal to pi into D equal to what? 0.3 into N. N is 200. N is given 200 divided by 60. So here power given is 2500 is equal to T1 minus T2 into V pi into 0.3 into 200 divided by 60. From this you can find the T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2 equal to 2500. It's a lengthy problem, multiplied by 60 divided by, it's not a complicated problem but lengthy problem, pi into 0.3 into 200. You simplify this value for getting 2500 divided by pi, because here you know 0.3 into 200 is equal to 60 only. This 60 cancel. Finally it is 2500 by pi. That is the T1 minus T2. But he is asking what is the value of T1 and T2 separately. As you know, belt tension ratio T1 by T2 equal to e power mu theta. E power, what is the mu value? Mu value given is 0.25 into theta. Theta is 160 degrees into pi by 180. You simplify this value. You try to simplify this value with your calculator. You can get T1 by T2 equal to 2. We are getting T1 by T2 equal to 2. Now look at the value. From this T1 minus T2 equal to 2500 by pi, whereas T1 equal to what? T1 equal to 2T2. So 2T2 minus T2 is equal to 2500 divided by pi. Okay, 2T2 minus T2 how much? T2 only. Therefore T2 equal to 2500 divided by pi. If T2 equal to 2500 divided by pi, then what is the value of T1? T1 is the twice the T2. T1 equal to 2 times the T2. T2 value 2500 divided by pi. You simplify this value, the T1 equal to 2500 into 2, 5000 divided by pi. Therefore T1 is 5000 divided by pi and T2 is 2500 divided by pi. Look at the options. Look at the last option. T1 is 5000 divided by pi and T2 is, the second value is T2, 2500 divided by pi. Therefore answer D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us go for another problem. Look at the third problem. Centrifugal tension in the belt. Option A increases the power transmission. B reduces the power transmission. C doubles the power transmission. D does not affect the power transmission. Dear friends, since the centrifugal tension is acting away from the center of the pulley, it is like this. This may be one of the pulley, this is the other pulley. Let this is the driver pulley and this is the driven pulley. The pulleys may be connected like this. Pulleys may be arranged by belt like this. This is your belt. If I assume the driver is running in the clockwise direction, since it is the open belt drive, in the open belt drive, driver and driven both are rotating in the same direction. So then I can say this is the tight side. tight side, and this is the slack side. Tight side tension is T1, slack side tension is T2. Power transmission P equal to T1 into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into V. This T1 is taken as maximum tension. The T1 is the tight side tension, T2 is the slack side tension. That T1 itself is taken as maximum tension. But it is asked to consider the centrifugal force or centrifugal tension. You know, the centrifugal tension is always acting away from the center. Since the centrifugal tension is always acting away from the center, that centrifugal tension is causing to reduce the power transmission, because if TC, centrifugal tension TC is considered, then maximum tension equal to what? T1 plus TC, tension on tight side plus centrifugal tension. Then what is the T1? T1 equal to Tmax minus TC. The power transmission equal to T1 in the place of T1. Actually T1 into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into V. But T1 equal to what? Tmax minus TC into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta multiplied by V. This is the power without centrifugal tension. The power without centrifugal tension is T1 equal to what? Tmax. Without centrifugal tension, T1 equal to Tmax into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into V. Now compare the power transmission without centrifugal tension and power transmission with centrifugal tension. The power transmission with centrifugal tension is less than the power transmission without centrifugal tension, because all other parameters are remaining same except Tmax and Tc. For the first case, without centrifugal tension, it is Tmax into multiplied by something. For the second case, Tmax minus Tc. This Tmax minus Tc always less than Tmax. Therefore, once we consider the centrifugal tension, the power transmission decreases. Now look at the options. Look at the option B, reduces the power transmission. The question is centrifugal tension in the belt reducing the power transmitted by the belt. I hope you got my point. Shall we take another problem? Yes, let us go for the next problem. Look at the fourth problem. The angular velocity of the pulleys connected by a cross or open belt drive is dash proportional to diameter of the pulleys. It is like this. Dear friends, here linear velocity V equal to product of angular velocity multiplied by radius. Here radius equal to what? Half of the diameter. Can also be written as V equal to angular velocity multiplied by d by 2. Therefore, angular velocity omega equal to 2v by d. From this, look at the relation between angular velocity and diameter. Angular velocity omega is inversely proportional to its diameter. That is the problem. So once again, let me read the problem. The angular velocity of the pulleys connected by a cross or open belt drive is inversely proportional. Answer is inversely. I hope you got my point. When the diameter is increasing, the angular velocity decreases and vice versa. I hope you got my point. Your answer is inversely proportional. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. For chain drives, the small sprockets should have minimum number of teeth. The minimum number of teeth for a small sprocket is 17. This is the standard question. Try to remember this answer. Very, very important question. This is the 5-star question. This kind of question is frequently asking in different competitive exams. 5-star question means commonly asking question. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. In V belts, the contact between the pulleys and belt at the it is like this. This is the V belt groove. This is the pulley. This is the pulley. The belt is contacting only at the sides of the belt like this. The belt is contacting only at the side. The belt is not contacting the bottom surface of the pulley. Belt is contacting only in this particular region. The belt is contacting only the sides of the pulley. Now look at the answer. In V belts, the contact between the pulley and belt is at the sides only. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. Let us go for one more problem. Look at the 7th problem. In a crossed flat belt drive, the angle of lap on the driving and driven pulleys. Here, the belt drive is crossed belt drive. There are two belt drives. First one is open belt drive. Open belt drive. Second one is crossed belt drive. Crossed belt drive. The difference is like this. This is the pulley. This is another pulley. In case of open belt drive, the belt is connected like this. Irrespective of the belt size or pulley size, you can say this is the open belt driver pulley. 1 minute. This is the driver pulley. Assume that pulley is running first. The other one is called follower or driven. Follower or driven. Remember, practically the angle of contact in open belt drive, angle of contact in the smaller pulley is less than angle of contact for the larger pulley. Whereas in the crossed belt drive, this is the driver pulley, this is the driven pulley. The belt is arranged like this. In case of crossed belt drive, irrespective of the pulley size, the angle of contact in the smaller pulley equal to angle of contact for the larger pulley. That means the angle of contact remains constant in both a smaller pulley and larger pulley in crossed belt drive. Whereas in the open belt drive, angle of contact in the smaller pulley is less than angle of contact in the larger pulley. Therefore, the belt tension ratio T1 by T2 equal to e power mu theta. This theta should be smaller angle of contact. Theta should be smaller angle of contact. In the crossed belt drive, since the angle of contact is remaining same, any angle can be taken. But in the open belt drive, this theta must be angle of contact in the smaller pulley. I hope you got my point. Now let us go for the problem. In a crossed belt drive, the angle of lap on the driving and driven pulleys equal. Since it is given for crossed belt drive, angle of contact in the smaller pulley equal to angle of contact in the larger pulley. Therefore, angle of contacts are equal. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. In power transmission using open belt on horizontal shaft, it is preferable to have the slack side of the belt on the top side. So in open belt drive, generally remember open belt drive, open belt drive. In the open belt drive, driver and driven both are running in the same direction. This may be the driver, this may be the driven. This is how the belt is connected to the two pulleys. You know, in open belt drive, both are running in the same direction. If the tight side at the downside, let this is the tight side. To have this tight side, assume this is the driver pulley, this is the driven pulley. It may be running in this direction. Then the driver pulley is pulling the belt like this and it is pushing towards left. Then other side is called slack side. Slack side. See, if the slack side is at the top side, the slack side means loose side, at the top side it is bending like this. By the time it is bending down, the angle of contact increases when the slack side is at the top side. That is the reason practically the open belt drive arrangement is such that the slack side is always at the top side. When the slack side is at the top side, the angle of contact increases because the belt is moving towards the pulley surface. Because of that, angle of contact increases. Let us go for the options. Once again, let me read the problem. In power transmission using open belt on horizontal shafts, it is preferable to have the slack side of the belt on the top because option A, the belt length is smaller. No. B, the slip is more. No. Option C, the angle of contact is more. Absolutely correct. Angle of contact increases when the slack side is the top side of the open belt drive. But it is not required. It is not required for the crossed belt drive because in the crossed belt drive, both the smaller pulley and larger pulley are maintaining the same angle of contact. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. For transmitting power without slip, one of the following drives is used. Belt drives, no. Belt drives are maintaining slow slip. Rope drives are also maintaining slip. Cone pulley may be for V belt or rope belt also maintain slip, but chain drives do not maintain the slip. For avoiding the slip in the power transmission, generally you need to select either chain drives or gear drives. Gear drives and chain drives cannot entertain the slip, whereas belt drives and rope drives belt drives and rope drives belt drives and rope drives are suffering from slip. I hope you got my point. Anyhow, for avoiding the slip, you need to select either gear drives or chain drives. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us go for one more problem. Look at the 10th problem. Creep in a belt drive. Dear friends, creep means because of the continuous tension on the belt will be slowly deforming permanently. That slow permanent deformation by tensile force or tension in the belt drive is called creep. Because of the creep, remember, driver always maintains the constant speed, but driven speed decreases or power available for the driven is decreasing. Remember, anyhow, the creep is always trying to reduce the speed of the driven pulley, though the driver is running at the same or constant speed. Look at the options. Creep in belt drive. Option A slows down the speed of the belt on the driving pulley. No, driving pulley speed cannot be changed. Look at the option B slows down the speed of the belt on the driven pulley. Absolutely correct. The driven pulley speed decreases because of the creep. Because of the permanent expansion in the belt due to creep, the belt arrangement is becoming loose. Because of that, the speed of the driven is reducing. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. In V belt drive system, the included angle of the belt alpha equal to 45 degrees and coefficient of friction 0.2. Then effective coefficient of friction would be, it is like this. For V belt, effective coefficient of friction, important problem, effective coefficient of friction, effective coefficient of friction, let it be mu dash equal to mu into cosecant alpha. What is the mu value given? Mu value given is 0.2. Mu given is 0.2 and alpha given is 45 degrees. Therefore, mu dash equal to mu 0.2 into cosecant 45 degrees. You simplify this value for getting approximately 0.28. The effective coefficient of friction for the V belt. Look at the options. Option A is not correct, B is not correct. Option C absolutely correct. 0.28 is effective coefficient of friction for the V belt. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 12th problem. Chain drive are preferred over belt drive. Chain drives are maintaining no slip. Therefore, chain drives are maintaining constant velocity ratio. For the belt drive, the velocity ratio VR equal to N2 by N1 is equal to D1 by D2. If the slip is considered 1 minus S by 100. Once the slip is considered, velocity ratio decreases. Anyhow, for the chain drive, no slip equal to 0. Since slip equal to 0 for the chain drive, the velocity ratio remains constant. Look at the option A. It can be used for larger distances. No. It gives constant velocity ratio. Yes. The reason why the chain drives are maintaining constant velocity ratio is the slip maintained by the chain drive is 0. Slip is 0 not only for chain drive but also for the gear drive. Anyhow, to avoid the slip completely, it is better to select either chain drives or the gear drives. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the next problem. A belt is changed from open belt system to crossed belt system. The additional length required by the crossed belt system. It is like this. For open system, the arrangement may be like this. the two pulleys are connected by a belt like this. Let this is the pulley 1 of radius r1, pulley 2 of radius r2, n1 be the speed of the driver, n2 be the speed of the follower. The distance between the central distance between the two pulleys is d. Then the length of the open belt drive L0 equal to pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 minus r2 whole square by d plus 2d. That is the minimum length of the belt which is required for open belt drive. Now come to the crossed belt drive. Crossed belt drive. In the crossed belt drive, both pulleys are made to rotate opposite each other. This may be the driver pulley, this is the driven pulley. Both are connected by a belt like this. As usual, this is the first pulley, second pulley, radius r1, r2, speeds n1, n2, distance between the two pulleys may be d. Then the length of the crossed belt drive equal to pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 plus r2 whole square by, here space is insufficient, let me write down. The length of the crossed belt drive LC equal to pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 plus r2 whole square by d plus 2d. So this is the length of the crossed belt drive, and this is the length of the open belt drive. From this I can say that length of the crossed belt drive always greater than length of the open belt drive. If you want to shift the cross belt to open belt, you must cut a portion of the belt. Otherwise, if you want to shift from open belt to crossed belt, you must add some portion of the belt. Then the length difference between the crossed belt drive and open belt drive, right, equal to what? Pi into r1 plus r2 plus r1 plus r2 whole square by d plus 2d minus pi into r1 plus r2 minus plus r1 minus r2 whole square by d plus 2d. You simplify this value plus 2d. You simplify this value for getting 4r1 r2 by d. 4r1 r2 by d, where r1 equal to radius of the one pulley, r2 equal to radius of the other pulley. So if you want to shift from crossed belt drive to open belt drive, this much length to be removed. Otherwise, the same length to be added, the same length of the belt to be added if you want to shift from open belt drive to crossed belt drive. Look at the options. Let me read the problem once again. A belt is changed from open belt to crossed belt drive. The additional length required by the crossed belt system, 4r1 r2 by d. In place of d, he might be taken the central distance between the two pulleys may be c. If it is taken c, it is 4r1 r2 by c. So this much length of the belt to be added if you want to shift from open belt drive to crossed belt drive. I hope you got my point. Option A is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. A belt 15 mm thick drives a pulley of 580 mm, 585 mm diameter, which makes 150 rpm, given like this. Thickness of the belt T equal to 15 mm. Diameter of the one pulley D1 equal to 585 mm. It is running at a speed of N1 equal to 150 rpm. Okay. The diameter of the driven pulley, the other pulley diameter D2 equal to 285 mm. You are asked to find the speed of the driven pulley N2 equal to how much? You know, velocity ratio VR equal to N2 by N1 is equal to D1 by D2 if thickness is not given. But for this problem, thickness is given 15 mm. Therefore, that to be considered. Then D1 plus T by D2 plus T. N2 divided by N1 given 150 equal to D1. D1 is 585 plus thickness 15 divided by D2. 285 plus 15. It is 600 divided by 300. It is equal to 2. So you got N2 by 150 is equal to 2. Therefore, the speed of the follower or speed of the driven N2 equal to 2 into 150 is equal to 300 rpm. 300 rpm. That is the answer. Look at the options. Look at the very first option. Option A itself is absolutely correct. The driven is running at a speed of 300 revolutions per minute. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 15th problem. A pulley 80 mm diameter running at 200 rpm. Pulley diameter may be D1 equal to 80 mm. Its speed may be written as N1 is equal to 200 rpm. Drives the other pulley of diameter 40 mm. It drives other pulley of diameter D2 equal to 40 mm. By belt drive system, if the total slip on the belt drive is, total slip S is given 2%. Okay, then the speed of the driven pulley. You are asked to decide what is the speed of the driven pulley. Very simple problem. Your velocity ratio equal to N2 by N1 is equal to D1 by D2 since slip is given into 1 minus S by 100. N2 by N1 how much? 200 is equal to D1 80 divided by 40 into 1 minus 2 by 100. So N2 by 200 is equal to 2 into 0.98. 2 into 0.98 maybe 1.96. I hope I am correct. N2 by 200. From this the speed of the driven equal to 1.96 into 200. You simplify this value for getting 392 revolutions per minute. So that is the speed of the driven pulley. I hope you got my point. Look at the option A. Option A itself is absolutely correct. I hope you understood this problem. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 16th problem. If the power transmitted by a rope drive is 30 kilowatts, power P is given 30 kilowatts. It is equal to 30 into 10 power 3 watts. And the velocity of the rope drive is estimated as 25 meter per second. Velocity V is given 25 meter per second. The effective pull means net tension is how much? Effective pull is nothing but net tension is how much? Net tension is how much? Very easy. power P equal to T1 minus T2 into the belt speed V. That T1 minus T2 itself is called net tension. Therefore, power P equal to net tension multiplied by belt speed V. Power is given 30 into 10 power 3 is equal to net tension multiplied by belt speed is 25. Therefore, net tension equal to or effective pull equal to 30 multiplied by 10 power 3 divided by 25. You simplify this value for getting around 1200 newtons. 1200 newtons. Of course, the same value can be written as 1.2 kilonewton. The answer may be either 1200 newtons or 1.2 kilonewtons. Look at the option 1.2 kilonewtons. 1200 newtons, right? 1200 is not available. So therefore, the option D can be selected, 1.2 kilonewton. The first one given is 120 newton meter. No, 120 newton, not 120 newton, 1200 newtons. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the next problem. The ratio of driving tensions in a V-belt drive is given by mu equal to coefficient of friction and alpha equal to half of the V angle. You know, 1 minute. In case of V-belt drive, this is the pulley, this is the complete V groove angle, generally denoted by 2 alpha according to given alpha. Alpha is given half of the angle. Then alpha equal to what? Semi groove angle. Semi groove angle. Semi groove angle. Therefore, belt tension ratio equal to T1 by T2 into e power mu theta by sin alpha, where alpha equal to semi groove angle. Of course, it can be written as T1 by T2 equal to e power mu theta into cosecant alpha. That is the answer. Look at the option A, mu theta. For the option A, theta might be missing. Mu theta by sin alpha e power mu. So T1 by T2 equal to e power mu theta by sin alpha. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the 18th problem. Dear friends, all these problems are very, very important problems. Since the design of machine elements is the problem oriented subject, paper and pen work is very, very important. Wherever you read the formula, you put on the paper. Wherever you find the problem on machine design, you put on the paper. Without paper pen work, it is impossible to get the success in both strength of material and machine design. Of course, for theory subjects also, it is better to maintain the paper and pen work. Look at the 18th problem. 18th problem. If Tc is the centrifugal tension and T is the maximum tension in the belt, the condition for maximum power transmission Tc. It is like this. Dear friends, the power transmission P equal to T1 into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into V. Now, the maximum tension T max equal to T1 plus Tc. Tension on tight side plus centrifugal tension. From this, the T1 equal to what? T max minus Tc. T max minus Tc. Okay, now the power P equal to T1. T1 equal to what? Maximum tension minus Tc into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into belt speed v. But in this problem, the maximum tension is given as T. This T max is given as T minus Tc. So power P equal to T minus Tc into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into v. But what is the Tc? Tc equal to mv square. Tc equal to mv square. Now power P equal to T minus Tc equal to what? Mv square into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta into v. It can be also written as power P equal to, let us multiply the whole term into v, whole term with v, T into v minus mv cube into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta. Just I am explaining. I know the final relation. For your understanding only, I am explaining the each and every point. So now from this, look at the power. Here power transmission completely depending on the belt speed v. Belt speed v, because maximum tension remains constant, mass of the belt remains constant, coefficient of friction constant, angle of contact is also remaining constant. From this, the power is completely a function of v. Therefore, power is the function of v means what? Power transmission by the belt drive is maximum only for a particular value of v. To know that particular value, you differentiate the power with respect to v and equating to 0. You differentiate the power with respect to v and equating to 0. Let us do that part. D by dv into Tv minus mv cube into 1 minus 1 by e power mu theta is equal to 0. You bring this term to other side, that is becoming 0. Finally, d by dv into Tv minus mv cube. Now you differentiate it. So it is T minus m into 3v square is equal to 0. So T minus 3 into mv square is equal to 0. But what is the Tc, centrifugal tension, equal to mv square. So T minus 3 Tc is equal to 0 or 3 Tc equal to T. Therefore centrifugal tension equal to maximum tension divided by 3. That is the condition for maximum power transmission. The condition for maximum power transmission is centrifugal tension equal to 1/3 of the maximum tension. Look at the options. So you are asked to find the condition for maximum power transmission by the belt. Tc should be T by 3. The centrifugal tension must be equal to 1/3 of the maximum tension to get the maximum power transmission. I hope you got my point. Let us take another problem. Look at the 19th problem. If W is the weight per unit length of the belt, T is the belt tension, and maximum permeable velocity of the belt V is given by. Dear friends, for the previous problem we have decided centrifugal tension Tc equal to maximum tension divided by 3. But what is the centrifugal tension? mv square, where m is the mass of the belt per unit length. But in this case, the weight is given. Weight of the belt. What is the weight? Product of mass and gravity constant. If you multiply the mass with gravity constant, you are getting the weight. Then what is the mass? Mass equal to weight divided by g. Therefore, centrifugal tension equal to weight divided by g into v square. Now let this is the relation 1, relation 2. From 1 and 2, from the relations 1 and 2, LHs are equal. Then you can equate the RHS. W into v square by g equal to T by 3. Therefore, v square equal to g into t by 3 into w. Therefore, optimum velocity. Therefore, optimum belt speed. So, optimum belt speed means the belt speed at which the power transmission is maximum. The speed maintained by the belt at maximum power transmission is called optimum belt speed. That optimum belt speed V equal to root over G into T by 3 into W. That is the answer. So anyhow, root GT by 3W. That is the answer. Look at the options. Look at the option C, root TG by 3W. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us look the another problem. Look at the 20th problem. In a belt drive, if the velocity of the belt is double, then the centrifugal tension. Let initial velocity V initial velocity equal to V. Initial velocity equal to V. With this V velocity, centrifugal tension Tc equal to mv square. mv square. Final velocity equal to V dash. It is given if the velocity of the belt is doubled 2 times the V. Then what is the centrifugal tension? Tc dash equal to new centrifugal tension equal to m into V dash square. V dash square. M into V dash is what? 2V whole square. 2V whole square. It is equal to m into 4V square. Simplification. School level mathematics. It is equal to 4 times the mv square. But what is the mv square? Mv square equal to original centrifugal tension. Therefore, it can be written as the centrifugal tension is increased by 4 times the original value. 4 times the original value. Look at the options. Read the problem. In a belt drive, if the velocity of the belt is double, then the centrifugal tension decreases. No. Does not change. No. Becomes double. No. Increases by 4 times. Option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the last problem. The maximum distance between the shafts for a chain drive is limited to 8 meters. This is the standard question. This question is also very important. The maximum distance between the two shafts for the chain drive is 8 meters. For the belt drives, you can go for 10 meters and 12 meters also. Anyhow, option C is absolutely correct. So with this, my dear friends, I am concluding this video. After you listened all these problems, you practice all these problems once again. If you have any doubts regarding these questions or other questions, you please send your doubts to the GeoByte. Definitely the GeoByte team will answer all your questions. And another important point is you can ask any doubts not only from design of machine elements but also from strength of material, thermodynamics, IC engines, refrigeration and air conditioning, and fluid mechanics, hydraulic machines. I am also the mechanical faculty in one of the engineering colleges, Hyderabad. I also completed the engineering and MTech through diploma. If you need any clarifications regarding your future exams or the diploma level exams, particularly in the mechanical branch, you please send all your doubts to GeoByte. Definitely, I will answer all your questions through GeoByte. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel called GeoByte. Thank you. Have a great day.
Geobyte.